This is Clearwater Beach. Is anyone out there? The storm, it's worse than they said. The winds, they're ripping apart everything. But that's not all. There's something here, in the house, it's watching us. We're trapped. The power's gone, and the doors won't open. I keep hearing whispers, someone's in the walls. If anyone could hear this, please, help us. We thought it was just the storm, but there's something else. Something wrong. We're not alone. The sky darkened unnaturally on October 9th, 2024, far earlier than any forecast had predicted. A suffocating silence gripped Clearwater Beach as Hurricane Milton charged relentlessly toward the Florida coast. This wasn't like any storm I'd seen before. Something was wrong, like the earth itself had stopped breathing, waiting for the worst to come. But the storm wasn't the only source of dread. Inside the old family home I'd known since childhood, strange things began to happen. Shadows stretched unnaturally along the walls, seeming to move even when nothing else did. Whispers echoed from rooms I hadn't entered, and the heavy feeling of being watched was constant, as if the house itself knew something I didn't. I tried to brush it off, chalk it up to nerves or the looming storm, but I couldn't shake the creeping thought, could the storm's fury be tangled with something far more malevolent? Or was my mind fracturing under the weight of what was coming? The reports couldn't keep up with Milton's intensity. The storm was growing stronger by the hour. Winds topping 150 miles per hour were ripping apart coastal towns. The surge would wipe out entire neighborhoods, and we knew it. The air around us felt charged, heavy, like it was plotting against us. But inside this house, something darker was stirring. It began subtly, lights flickering, rooms getting colder despite no open windows. Then my grandfather's old mirror in the hallway cracked, spiderwebbing across its surface. I thought it was the wind, or maybe the pressure from the storm. But no one had touched it. That's when I first saw it, not my reflection, but someone else's. Older. Shadowed. Watching me from the cracked glass. I stumbled back, trying to rationalize, but the whispers grew louder, filling the house, the sound wrapping itself around me. Was it just the storm causing this? Or had Milton's violent rage stirred something deeper, something lurking within these walls for years? The mirrors reflected shadows that didn't belong, and the whispers never stopped. The winds outside howled like wolves, and the house creaked, groaned as if breathing. I wanted to believe it was all in my head, but deep down, I knew. Something far worse was happening here, and it wasn't just the hurricane. The real question was, what was haunting us, the storm or the house itself? October 5th, 2024. The weather forecasts have been predicting Hurricane Milton for days, and the atmosphere here in Clearwater Beach is tense. Families are boarding up their homes, stores are selling out on essentials, and the local news is in a constant loop about evacuation plans. Despite the warnings, I decided to stay with my grandparents in their century-old house. There's something comforting about the familiar creaks and groans of the old place, even as the wind starts to pick up outside. Last night, as the winds began to howl, I thought I saw a shadow move across the hallway mirror. I brushed it off as my imagination playing tricks in the dim candlelight. But now, with the storm approaching, I can't shake the uneasy feeling that we're not entirely alone. October 7th, 2024. Milton is just 2 days away from making landfall. The preparations have intensified, shelves are reinforced, windows are boarded up, and generators are set up. My grandparents are anxious but determined to ride out the storm. Tonight, the power flickered before the blackout. In the darkness, I heard whispers coming from the attic. Thinking it was the wind playing through the old house, I tried to ignore it. However, the whispers grew louder, forming words I couldn't understand. When I lit a candle, the attic was empty, but the air felt heavy, almost oppressive. I checked the local news again. Milton is expected to hit around midnight. The storm surge warnings are particularly severe for our area. The thought of the powerful winds and rising waters keeps me awake, but the eerie silence of the house is even more unnerving. October 9th, 2024. The night Milton hit was like nothing I've ever experienced. The winds howled like banshees, and rain pounded against the house with relentless fury. The power was out for hours, plunging us into darkness intermittently as the generators struggled to keep up. Amid the chaos, the supernatural events escalated. The whispers from the attic turned into screams, echoing through the hallways. Furniture was inexplicably moved, and the temperature dropped suddenly, my breath visible in the air. I saw apparitions flicker in the corners of my eyes, ghostly figures that vanished when I turned to look. The local news was a blur of frantic reports, streets flooded, trees uprooted, and buildings destroyed. Emergency sirens wailed in the distance, adding to the cacophony. Amid the storm's rage, the house seemed to come alive with its own dark energy. At the height of Milton's wrath, a large tree was torn from the ground and crashed through our roof, shattering the attic window. Water gushed in, and in the chaos, the apparitions became more aggressive. One figure, a woman in a tattered dress, stood by the broken window, staring directly at me with hollow eyes. Her presence felt like a cold hand on my soul. I managed to barricade myself in the basement, clutching a flashlight and praying for dawn. The house groaned and creaked under the storm's assault, and the supernatural activity showed no signs of abating. It was as if Milton had awakened something ancient and vengeful within these walls. October 10th, 2024. The storm has passed, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Streets are flooded, power lines down, and debris scattered everywhere. The sun is struggling to break through the lingering clouds, casting a gloomy light over the damage. Emerging from the basement, I surveyed the wreckage of the house. The roof was partially collapsed, and water damage was evident in every room. My grandparents are safe, but the house feels different, charged with an unsettling energy. As I walked through the living room, I noticed the mirror in the hallway was shattered, yet fragments seemed to shift and move on their own. The image of the woman from the night before lingers in my mind, her hollow eyes watching me even now. Neighbors are helping each other clean up, but there's an unspoken tension in the air. Some talk about seeing strange lights and hearing odd noises during the storm, similar to what I experienced. It's as if Hurricane Milton didn't just bring natural destruction but also awakened something hidden and malevolent. Late tonight, as I sit by a generator trying to get some semblance of normalcy, I can't shake the feeling that the worst is not yet over. The house feels alive, whispering secrets and threats in the quiet moments. Milton may have passed, but whatever it brought with it remains, lurking in the shadows, waiting. Will we ever truly be safe, or has the storm left a lasting mark that we can't escape? The answers lie in the days to come, as the line between the natural and the supernatural continues to blur.
This is Clearwater Beach. I don't know how much time I have left. Milton's gone, but something else, something worse remains. The house is alive. I can hear them, they're inside, the whispers, the shadows, they're coming closer. No one's answering. Please, if anyone's out there, it's not the storm you need to fear. It's what comes after. The air is heavy, thick with something dark. I can feel it. If you hear this, stay away from Clearwater. Whatever's here, it's still waiting.